Hi all, this is Once a Future Gamer and welcome to another Pokemon Challenge. So, last week we had a fun romp through the Hoenn region as we asked the question of whether or not I could beat Pokemon Emerald using just the beautiful condition contest moves. That really was a fun run. Check it out if you haven't already done so. This week though, we're jumping forward quite a few gens and heading to the Kalos region as we answer the question of whether or not I can beat Pokemon Y with just a single Croagunk. Fun fact for you, this is one of my favourite Pokemon, and it's largely due to the anime. Brock's Croagunk was the boss in the Diamond and Pearl series. We have a 300 base stat total, with our best stats being our 2 attack stats, both with 61. Our speed is at 50, both our defence is at 40, and our HP at 48, so we don't have much bulk. We are weak to flying and ground, plus quad weak to psychic. We resist fighting, poison, rock, bug, grass and dark, so a mixed bag. Our natural learn set is not particularly spectacular. We get a surprising amount of dark moves, which is nice considering how weak we are to psychic. I might get some mileage out of nasty plot, particularly if I want to go the special attacking route. We don't get many fighting moves, strangely enough. There are fairy types in this game, so a choice of either poison jab or sludge bomb will be nice. Via TM, we get plenty of options. We get ground moves, we get ghost, more fighting moves, rock, bug, plus normal. I think I can get creative with these movesets for sure. Predictions. Well, I'm not looking forward to fighting Dianthur's Mega Gardevoir, I know that much. I think the Psychic Gym might be unpleasant too. I think we will be fine for the first bit of the game, probably all the way up until the 7th gym. The rivals might cause some awkwardness, but even then, prominent Psychic types are likely to be an issue. Thankfully, there isn't many of them. I can't even see the Elite Four being too awkward. Maybe Wickstrom, perhaps? Something is going to wall me, though, I'm sure of it, and I just can't work out what it is yet. Maybe Lysander? We'll see. Just the rules then. In combat, I can only use Croagunk. Other Pokemon will be needed for HMs, but unable to fight. Same for abilities like Pickup. Only Pokeballs and held items in battle, but I can heal as much as I want to outside of battle. And last of all, no glitches, exploits or Pokemon and me to boost leveling. Super training is fair game though for the EVs. This challenge was requested by Defiant on the Discord. If you have any ideas for challenges, drop them in the comments section, or there are links to the Discord and the Twitter feed in the description. If you do enjoy what you see, then like, subscribe and ring the bell. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Chespin with Croagunk so that I can do the whole run with it. It gives Shauna something that we can in theory beat quite easily because she will have Greninja and we're part fighting type. But it also gives Serena Delphox, which is the hardest for us to fight because it is part psychic type. That'll be what walls us, won't it? Death by Delphox. I nicknamed the Croagunk Daft Gunk because we're going to be up all night hoping to get lucky in some of these fights. Eventually, after listening to our friends Rabbit on for ages, we can begin the game and have a look at our Croagunk. Daft Gunk has the impish nature, so increased defence and lowered special attack. That's not particularly good because I was wanting to go the special attacker route. Oh well, I guess it is what it is. Last time I did this game, it was with a Farfetch'd with a lowered attack nature, so I've done worse. We also have the dry skin ability, so I'm pretty fine with that. It'll suck when we face fire type, so I have to fight in harsh sunlight, but water immunity is pretty good. We have the fight with Shauna before we leave, and I have to admit that this is a lot closer than I thought it would be. So, we start with Astonish and Mud Slap, two pretty weak moves. Astonish is only good if you move first, because of the flinch chance, and we are not faster than Shauna's Froakie, so we're not in a good position. Plus, she spams a few growls, so I launched some mud slaps at her to wreck her accuracy. She still hits some blows throughout the fight, even when being hit by 4 or 5 of them, which is quite aggravating. She does try a bubble attack, which we gleefully absorb, but unfortunately we don't get any health back due to not being injured at that point, and she never tries it again. It's close, but eventually we do take her down. I think we will have a lot of the same issues here as we had with the Swinub in Pokemon Black Run. It's going to be awkward until we get better moves. Anyway, I do some super training when I get to Santaloon City, only remembering then that I could have done this earlier. I want to look at special defence and speed. The former because of psychic types, the latter because I want to be able to hit the enemy before they hit me. We go to hit Viola at level 16 and this fight does not go well. Largely because we get absolutely atrocious luck throughout the fight. I mean it, what are the chances of this? So, Surskit is a free hit. We take it down with Pursuit and 2 Poison Stings. It lands 2 quick attacks in retaliation, but they do not do much damage, so there is at least that. My issue is with the amount of Poison Stings that we fling at Vivillon. I use Poison Sting every single turn of the fight and don't get the status effect. Without it, we're not going to win as she spams Harden. Given the choice is either Pursuit or Poison Sting, neither of those is going to do massive damage. The damage over time from Infestation wrecks our health too, and we do go down after we finally drop Vivillon into yellow health, which isn't good. So that's a really promising start to the run. I'll say it again, we need better moves. I'm going to get another level and try again because we get Feint Attack at level 17. We come back at that very level and I feel more confident because at least Feint Attack does have some power about it. It's certainly a better option power-wise than the rest of the moves we've been running with. Like I said, get better moves, will be golden. So we 2-hit Surskit with Feint Attack, that's really not a problem. It only goes to water sports, but since we're not using fire moves, it will be irrelevant. Vivillon does still hit hard with Tackle, but it's not overly concerning as we free hit it with Feint Attack. We do take some damage in the process, but not negatively so. We do get the victory, we get the first badge with little problems. Let's move on. The next major fight is the one with Professor Sycamore in Lumiose City, where he uses the Kanto starters. I get the Bulldoze TM beforehand to give myself another okay move. Bulldoze is very useful in this game until you can get either Earthquake or Dig. Sycamore uses the 3 Kanto starters and begins with Bulbasaur. This might be the biggest problem, but we hit it with 2 Feint Attacks to drop it. It hits a Vine Whip that does about as well as can be expected. Squirtle we take down with Bulldoze and Feint Attack. It only cutely wags its tail in response to try and get us to lower our guard. It succeeds too, but Charmander is last and we drop it with a Bulldoze, giving us the victory. We also have a quick fight with Tierno outside the city, but it's not a tricky one. He has a Corphish and it does land a Vice Grip on us, but we do shrug it off to end it with a mere 2 Bulldozers. Take that, dancing boy! On the subject of rivals, we've got the double battle where we team up with Serena to face off with Trevor and Tierno next, and Daft Gunk is building up a bit of a level lead. I just start flinging Bulldoze attacks around, especially since Serena has a flying type up first, so we can't hit our partner. Pikachu goes down to Bulldoze, while Serena's Fletchling does some chip damage to Corphish with Peck and quick attacks. We take it down with another Bulldoze, while she also deals damage to Flabebe with Peck attacks before it suffers one of our Bulldozers. We win and move on. We've got the second gym battle next and the fight with Grant. Now you might have noticed I still have Taunt on my moveset, and there is a very good reason for this. The reason is Grant Zamora, who at this point I doubt we will one hit. So instead of trying to attack it, Daft Gunk says something insulting about its long extinct mother and taunts it into attacking, meaning it cannot paralyse us with Thunder Wave. We hit it with a Bulldoze, but it survives and launches a takedown for massive damage, but it does finish itself off on the Rocky helmet I made Daft Gunk wear. Well, it was actually in case we started getting stomped by Tyrants, but oh well. We're faster than the said Tyrant anyway. It does hit us with a Rock Tomb, but we do lay it out with 2 Bulldoze attacks. Next is the fight with Serena at the Tower of Mastery, and this could be interesting indeed as I'm worried about a Braixen. Mind you, I forgot she has a Meowstic too. It only messes around with Disarming Voice and Fake Out at the start, meaning we don't take much damage and we try to get a couple of nasty plots up. I lose my nerve a little when she goes to Light Screen because I was intending to fire a Sludge Bomb at her and it survives Bulldoze hardly before I throw another nasty plot up. And then we get absolutely smashed with Psybeam. Keep in mind I've got the Eviolite on too, so that is reduced damage. Our Sludge Bomb does take it down, but the Light Screen is still up. We hit Braixen with Bulldoze, but it survives and finishes us off with a Psybeam of its own. Crap. We make a second attempt immediately after. We get hit by Fake Out and we put 2 nasty plots up while Meowstic goes for Light Screen on the second turn and Psybeam on the third, putting us on the half health mark. We hit a sludge bomb that lands her on a sliver of health, and she goes for a disarming voice before poison damage takes it down. Breakson, out next, is terrifying, but even with the light screen up, our sludge bomb ends it in one hit, which is a huge relief, before we do the same to her final Pokemon, the Absol. We take it out with a sludge bomb. The fighting gym is next, and I'm reasonably confident here, at least if we can avoid getting messed up by the Hawlucha anyway, what with it being part flying type and all. So, we begin the battle by facing off with Meanfu, and it hits us with Fake Out, because of course everything seems to know that at this point of the game. We get 2 nasty plots up while we get hit with a 3-turn double slap and a power up punch, before we take Meanfu out with Sludge Bomb. Hawlucha is next, and it is actually faster, which isn't good in the slightest, but it wastes the chance to attack by going for Hone Claws before we shoot it down with Sludge Bomb. Last is Machoke. It doesn't outspeed, it gets hit with the boosted Sludge Bomb, and we get the badge. That's all she wrote. Next major fight is another one with Serena in front of the grass gym. This one isn't as much of a problem as the previous one was, so that's something. We get hit with a Fake Out before managing to get a nasty plot up. Meowstic then lashes us with a Psybeam that takes out over half our health, again even with the Eviolite on, before we down it with a single Sludge Bomb. I'm thankful for that, truly. Breakson also goes down to a single Sludge Bomb, which is a relief because it could have turned nasty, before Absol goes down in the same fashion. We smash it with a crit Sludge Bomb to end it. The grass gym is next, and we have got the fight with Ramos. I'm really not concerned with this. He's not the hardest at the best of times, and we should be good. If we can get the nasty plot up, I reckon we Sludge Bomb our way to victory. Jumpluff does no acrobatics, which does decent damage, but we get our nasty plot up, and then we one-shot sweep our way through the entire fight, taking down Jumpluff, taking down Go-Goat, and taking down Weepinbell in short order. It is funny actually, I do actually want to do a challenge in this game with Skiddo, so watch this space going forward, I guess. Eventually, we've got the electric gym next after much power plant stuff and the face-off with Clemont. I replaced Bulldoze with Return to give me a few more tactical options, but it wouldn't do me much good against his first Pokemon, Emolga, anyway. We one-hit it with Sludge Bomb to take it down hard, and just like that, we're onto the Magneton. It is a 2-hit with Power Up Punch, only throwing up electric terrain, before the Heliolisk is last, and we have got boosted attack, thanks to our 2 previous moves. And so, our third Power Up Punch one-hits it. Boom! 5 badges down. We have the Route 14 rival fight next, but it goes badly, and that's not even an exaggeration. When it comes to facing Meowstic, we get tagged with Fake Out before throwing up a nasty plot. The next move it goes for, alas, is Psychic, which wipes out about 2/3 of our health before we one-hit it with Sludge Bomb. That same move, Sludge Bomb, wipes out most of Delphox's health, but it survives on a fraction, and finishes us with Psybeam. Oh dear, not good. We try again straight after, and we get a little more fortune. This time, after we get tagged with Fake Out, we go for Sludge Bomb straight away on Meowstic and do about 2/3. It only goes for Disarming Voice twice though, and we get 2 nasty plots up before it hits us with Psychic to put us down to about 1/5 of our health. We take it out with a Sludge Bomb before we do the same thing to Delphox, and at least the 2 most dangerous threats on her team are down. Absol hits a quick attack and leaves us on 12 HP, and suddenly, I'm glad again we've got the Eviolite on, or that could have ended us. We finish it with Sludge Bomb. Just while we are puttering around on Route 14, it seems a good time to talk about what's going on with the channel. Let's Plays are still ongoing. It's just been a week of Let's Go Pikachu. Next week is Mystery Dungeon. Still doing the Switch games on alternate weeks with 2 episodes of Fable Anniversary and 2 episodes of Resident Evil 0 dropping throughout the week. I really kind of want to do some playthroughs of Legend of Zelda games at some point soon on the channel, because that's another Nintendo franchise I really love. I mean, particularly Ocarina of Time, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and the Oracle games on the Game Boy Color. I never finished Majora's Mask, I never finished Skyward Sword or Breath of the Wild, but might jump into those. I'm pretty good at getting distracted from a story by random side quests, look at my Fable playthrough, or for an even more accurate example of this, my Legends Arceus playthrough. Pokemon challenges wise, we've got a Pokemon Silver challenge next week as I see if we can beat Pokemon Silver with a single Yanma. We've got a Fire Red challenge the week after and a Platinum challenge the week after that, so all go. Had a few submissions in for future challenges and they're all appreciated, even if some of them have been done in a few forms before, like the Beedrill challenge from a few weeks back. Kinda why I do like doing Gen 6 challenges. I don't think there's many of them around. I'm sure a YouTube search would disprove otherwise, but I'm happier in believing that at the moment. Ignorance is bliss. I might be jumping back to Pokemon Y in a few weeks because, as I mentioned earlier, I want to try Skiddo in a Gen 6 run, largely because I have a really great nickname for it. Challenges have come about through less, I suppose. As always, if there is any ideas, drop them away and I'll see what I can say. Up next is the Fairy Gym. You might think this easy, but remember, we only take neutral damage from the Fairy type. And also, of Valerie's 3 Pokemon, one is a Mawile, which is immune to poison, and one is Mr. Mime, which is part Psychic type. And we have got some rather well documented issues with that type. I've put Dig on Gunk to ensure we can deal with Mawile anyway. At least she doesn't Mega Evolve it. Anyway, said Mawile is first and I go for a Nasty Plot while we get tagged with Crunch. Nasty Plot isn't going to boost Dig, but it is for the rest of the fight. We one-hit Mawile with Dig before we then go and take Mr. Mime down with Sludge Bomb before it can seriously mess us up. That was partly what the Nasty Plot was for. Sylveon, up last, also goes down to a crit Sludge Bomb. That was the other reason that I did the Nasty Plot. We have got a while before the next gym and I want to see if I can get the Dark Pulse TM before the Psychic gym. I have a horrible feeling we can't get it until we get Waterfall after the 8th gym, but I might be wrong. I'm not wrong, so that's not an option. Before we can enter the Psychic gym, we have to fight Serena again, but at least this is the last time until just before the Pokemon League. Anyway, we have Touch and Go versus Meowstic as we try to get 2 Nasty Plots up before getting tagged with a Fake Out and 2 Disarming Voices. Interesting tactic she's going with, but I'm not complaining. Before she can screw us up with a Psychic attack, we take Meowstic down with Sludge Bomb. We then do the same very quickly in the turn after to Delphox. Up next, Serena sends out her Jolteon and we shoot it down with Sludge Bomb before the Absol is last, and you've guessed it, Sludge Bomb. We take the victory and head into what could be the hardest gym of the game by a long, long way. Olympia is a Psychic type gym leader, and I feel like this is going to be absolutely horrible, even with the level advantage we've built up. We begin the fight and it starts off great. We get a Nasty Plot up versus Sigilyph while it goes for Reflect. I don't want to take the chance it knows Light Screen as well, so we end it quickly with Sludge Bomb. Slowking is next and we go for another Nasty Plot while it goes for Calm Mind. Unfortunately, that Calm Mind proves to be the key to the fight as it survives Sludge Bomb and then one hits us from full health with Psychic. Yikes! I make another try almost immediately after, and this time I make a change on my strategy. I decide to go for 2 Nasty Plots versus Sigilyph. The first one, it counters with Reflect, which won't make much difference. I put the second one up, and then it wipes out 2/3 of our health with Psychic, before we then go on the one-shot sweep, taking down first Sigilyph with Sludge Bomb, and then we get some sweet, sweet revenge on the Slowking by one hitting it before it has the chance to power up. Last is Meowstic, and we're well used to fighting those by this point, and we take it out with Sludge Bomb. We get the 7th badge, let's go do story stuff. We've got to fight Lysander next, and I'm a little leery about how this one might go. I guess I'll have to see. First is his Meanfu, and I figure I'll power up, going for a Nasty Plot. It immediately hits us with Acrobatics, but I figure we will survive another move, so I go for a second Nasty Plot and survive a second Acrobatics. I then take it down with Sludge Bomb. We also take his Gyarados down with Sludge Bomb, which surprised me, but I'll take it. I bet we don't when it goes Mega. I think I might need to be at +6 there. Murkrow also goes crashing down to Sludge Bomb before the same thing happens to the Pyro, Outlast. Sludge Bomb sends it crashing down to the ground. There is another fight with him soon after, the second in the series of 3 battles. I don't think we're going to be as fortunate here with getting set up. There is something I can do though, and I hope it'll be enough. I teach Gunk Rain Dance, and I hope that the health recovery will be enough. I come up with that strategy and then promptly forget about it, getting 2 Nasty Plots off straight away after it turns out we can survive 2 Acrobatics from Lysander's newly evolved Mienshao. I don't know if Rain Dance would have saved us there anyway. We'll have to see for the final battle. We knock Mienshao out with Sludge Bomb and then do the same thing to his Gyarados before it can hit us. It knows Earthquake, so I don't want to screw around. Honchkrow goes down to Sludge Bomb before the same thing happens to Pyro. We get the victory and prep ourselves mentally for the final battle. We have to get Yveltal worn down in that final fight because it happens right after we catch the Dark Bird. Since Disable doesn't cause any damage, I just spam that over and over, stopping it from using a move that isn't going to hurt Daft Gunk anyway when it comes out. Plus, it stops it missing high jump kick by mistake and taking recoil damage. When Daft Gunk comes out, we put the rain up and get one nasty plot up, tanking 2 acrobatics. We take Mienshao down with Sludge Bomb before doing the same very quickly to Honchkrow. It's incapable of standing up to it. Versus Pyro, we put another nasty plot up and get tagged with Hyper Voice before we down it with Sludge Bomb. Finally is Lysander's Mega Gyarados, and Sludge Bomb does a lot of damage to it, putting it on red health, but it's not enough and it takes us down the next move with Earthquake. Okay, so that's not good then. Another nasty plot boost would put us over the edge versus Gyarados, but I really can't do it versus Mienshao if I want the rain to go up too. It might have to be versus Pyro. The first turn of the rematch, I go for a nasty plot and then put a rain dance up on the second turn, just so we get an extra turn of health recovery. 2 acrobatics leave us weak, but we can fire the Sludge Bomb at Mienshao to knock it out. Honchkrow out next, also goes down to our Sludge Bomb and we're back onto Pyro. I use another nasty plot, look at how much health we've got left after taking a Hyper Voice and decide to go for a third one. We survive the second Hyper Voice on 15 HP and then take down the Pyro. I once beat this game with Pyro's pre-evolved form and it came about because somebody said I wouldn't be able to beat Lysander's Mega Gyarados with it. On the subject of that, it comes out next and we immediately one-hit the Mega with Sludge Bomb for the victory. We have a fight with Professor Sycamore next as he uses the trio of evolved Kanto starters to try and beat us, that being his way of apology apparently. He begins with Venusaur and I immediately go for the tried and trusted strategy of throwing up nasty plots to boost our special attack. We get hit with Petal Blizzard and Petal Dance, neither of which does a great deal of damage to us, and then one hit the Venusaur with Sludge Bomb. Next is Blastoise and I go for another nasty plot, curious if it will fire a water move at us. It doesn't, it only goes to set up Skull Bash, so we end it with Sludge Bomb. Everyone's favourite Charizard, joke, don't shoot me, comes out next and we end it with a Sludge Bomb. Boom! We've also got the 3 rival fights before we can make it to the next gym, where we face Shauna, Tierno and Trevor, one after the other. I recall having an absolutely horrific time with this in the Litleo run, but I don't think it was that bad in the Farfetch'd run in hindsight. Shauna is the first one and probably the easiest. She begins with a Delcatty, which could be problematic if not for the fact that it's a Delcatty and we duly one-hit it with Power Up Punch. We do have the TMs for Brick Break and Focus Blast, but I have a lot of love for this move. Greninja is next and we Power Up Punch it down before the Gudra is next, and thanks to our attack being boosted, we smack it with a return to end it hard, giving us the win. Then Trevor and Tierno show up and it's time for the next battle. I think you have to win all 3 without losing, otherwise you have to start over, but you at least get healed after the second battle, which is handy. Tierno is next and I make a bad decision as I go for Sludge Bomb on Talonflame without powering up. It survives narrowly and hits an Acrobatics which does decent damage and I take it out with the Sludge Bomb. I could have planned that better. Croagunk is next and our error gets fixed as we hit it with a Power Up Punch before it obligingly uses Crab Hammer on us to restore some of our health, water type move, and then we take it out with the second Power Up Punch. Roserade is third and we can take it down swiftly with return, giving us the win. Finally, it's Trevor, and I know that he has an Aerodactyl, so I'm quite leery about that. I'm pretty sure he begins with a Raichu, which means there's a risk we run of getting paralysed. That comes into play pretty quickly when his Raichu lands a nuzzle on us after surviving Sludge Bomb, and as a result we get lashed repeatedly with Thunderbolts while I try to use a nasty plot, figuring I'm not going to be able to screw around with Power Up Punch versus Aerodactyl. We do eventually take it out with our special attack boosted, but at the cost of half of our health. Worse, Aerodactyl lands supersonic, meaning that we're really unable to do anything, and duly get taken down by a combination of Skydrop and Confusion damage. Our next attempt does only go marginally better, as we manage to one-hit Trevor's Raichu with a return, always a good thing, especially as we come out of the fight without being paralysed, before we do take Aerodactyl down with 2 power-up punches. Now that does sound good, but again, we get confused, and although we break through the confusion to take the ancient Pokemon down, it's not good when we come to Florges. We hit ourselves, and thanks to our attack stat being boosted, take a lot of damage. Our Sludge Bomb, worse, doesn't actually one-hit it, thanks to Florges being an absolute monster, special defense-wise. I want to finish it off with Return, but thanks to a combination of Moonblasts and Confusion damage, we go down. It does take quite a few more attempts, but we finally get a run where we can knock Raichu out with a single return, which doesn't always happen. It's either a damage range or Daft Gunk becoming quite unhappy about the beatings that he's taking in these fights. Aerodactyl, crucially, also doesn't go for Supersonic, instead going straight into Skydrop, which means that we can hit the requisite 2 power-up punches and not get badly hurt by punching ourselves in the face. I wonder if Skydrop was really what Charizard was using all those years ago in the anime, rather than Seismic Toss, as was claimed, because it looks a lot like how I remember that move being used on screen. Anyway, we Sludge Bomb Florges, and then, when it only goes to Misty Terrain to try and fight back, we end it with Return. Wulfric is last, the Ice-type gym leader, and I'm really fired up ready for him. This one was horrible when we did the Farfetch run in this game, I recall that very, very clearly. I do have a plan. It involves repeated use of Power-Up Punch. It's not much of a strategy, but it'll be what it'll be. The first attempt, we lose in pretty unlucky fashion. We badly hurt Abomasnow with Power-Up Punch, but it freezes us on the first turn with Ice Beam. And then it hits us with 3 more of the same move, during which time we're also getting clattered by Hail for chip damage. We never thaw out, and as a result, we end up losing very quickly. That wasn't good. Our second attempt goes better, as this time, when we face off with the Abomasnow, we don't get frozen, which removes immediately all of the issues we had across the previous fight. We 2-hit Abomasnow with Power-Up Punch, though the chip damage from the hail is irritating. Cryogonal comes out next, and we take it out with another Power-Up Punch, sending the Snowflake crashing down. Out last is Avalugg, and it survives a +3 stab Power-Up Punch before going for Curse. That's not going to save it. We take it down with a final Power-Up Punch to get the last badge, and then we head for Victory Road. Actually, I swing by to get some TMs that I can access now that I have Waterfall, and I come across a shiny Floatzel, which was pretty neat. Mind you, I've said it before, I like Buizel, but not a huge fan of Floatzel. Still, getting a shiny encounter is always cool. I did actually do it in last week's challenge, but didn't mention it then because I didn't have the footage, I wasn't recording at the time. I got whirlwinded away by a shiny Hariyama in Hoenn's Victory Road. It's taken me a week or so to get over that, and I'm finally bringing it up because I've got the face off with it now. We have to fight Serena before we can get to the Elite Four, and at least we do have Dark Pulse this time, which might well make things easier considering she has those 2 Psychic types. We do get unlucky right at the end. One Nasty Plot versus Meowstic is first, and then we get tagged with Psychic, which we do actually survive quite well before taking it down with Dark Pulse. Delphox, out next, also goes down to a Dark Pulse before Altaria is out third. We hurl a Sludge Bomb at it, but it actually survives and hits us with Dragon Pulse, which we tank quite well before finishing it. Jolteon is faster than us and hits a Discharge, and the bloody thing paralyses us. We take it out with a Sludge Bomb, leaving just the Absol. It goes to Swords Dance, and we immediately get fully paralysed before we can finish it off, much to my disgust. Not least because it then means all my HM slaves have to get fainted too. Drat. A second attempt, and the exact same thing happens. We get paralysed by Jolteon's Discharge. Does the damn thing have Serene Grace or something as its ability? On the third attempt, we do get lucky as the fight goes blow for blow the exact same, except we have the fortune not to get paralysed by Jolteon. That was all we needed. We blast it with Sludge Bomb and then do the same thing to the Absol, giving us a win. We stand in front of the Pokemon League at level 96, and here are our stats. I didn't want to go this route, but I might have to do it. I might have to go down the physical attack route. I might get rid of Nasty Plot and run Power-Up Punch, Earthquake, and either Return or Poison Jab with Rain Dance. Our physical attack is better, and we can knock them out while powering up with Power-Up Punch. The clue is in the name, I guess. We're not going to get turn after turn to power up with Nasty Plot. None of our stats are particularly good for this level, so take your guesses on if I can do this or not. Now! Now, I still think Wickstrom will be the hardest, and Seabold should be the easiest in theory, at least until the AI works out that water moves aren't going to work on us. As much as I have enjoyed the nasty plot strategy, I go retool my moveset. I can always get it back via move relearner if need be. Seabold is first, and this one is easy. I like the animation of his chamber as we set up, with all the water coming up out of the ground and cascading back down. It reminds me of the final battle of Wind Waker, which is ironic given that we were talking about Legend of Zelda earlier in the video. Anyway, his first Pokemon is Clawitzer, and I bang it with a few power-up punches, which raise our attack a lot. It does try to water pulse us to little effect, cue a smug smirk on my face, but we take it out with 4 of them after he heals it. I'm going to need as much attack as possible. Starmie is next, but we one-hit it with Poison Jab. Out next is Gyarados, and we're facing an Intimidate, but we can still one-hit it with Poison Jab. That's fortunate. Barbaracle is last, and it survives Power-Up Punch. I go to finish it with Poison Jab, but he heals it, and I have to use another one to knock it down. That's one down. I think I'll take on Malva next. This one isn't going to be easy, but I might as well get it out of the way. Again, it's very, very cinematic as flames erupt out of the chamber, and I imagine this would be pretty dangerous as well. You can tell that Malva was set up to be a baddie, because it'd be very easy to dispose of someone by pushing them into the flaming geyser column. I guess they left that out of a kid's game for good reason, huh? Her first Pokemon is Pyro, and I immediately Rain Dance, which shields us from the flamethrower before I start to power up punch it. Her Lioness does start using Noble Roar to remove our buffs, which is annoying of her, but we do take it down. Talonflame is faster and hits Brave Bird, but we survive and take it down with a Poison Jab, so phew in that respect. Next up is Torkoal, and we do manage to one-hit it with Earthquake before we do the same to Chandelure at the last. You know, I am amazed that Chandelure never had Levitate as an ability, you know. It is quite literally floating above the ground. I'll do Drasna next, it shouldn't be that bad. After all, she did lose to Ash in the anime, so how bad can it be? I will be fair to her, as we fight in her smoky chamber, she did give me a lot more of an issue than the previous two did. A lot more of an issue. First is her Dragalge, who we hit a few power-up punches on to boost our attack, getting hit with a few Dragon Pulses and a Thunderbolt. I even put the Rain up to help with some health recovery before we do take it out with Earthquake. Noivern is faster than us and hits an Air Slash. Thankfully, we don't get flinched by the blow, but unfortunately, we don't one-hit it with Poison Jab. She heals it, I go for another power-up punch, tank another Air Slash, that once again, thankfully, does not flinch us, and then we take it out with another Poison Jab. Altaria also goes down to Poison Jab, thankfully, before we face off with her Druddigon at the end. I'm a little leery, but we hit an Earthquake to bring it down. That is 3 down, so let's go deal with Wickstrom. I am worried, I'm not going to lie. He's going to resist our stab poison moves, plus he has a Probopass that has Sturdy, so that's going to be a problem I think. But at least it doesn't know Thunder Wave, which would be far more annoying for sure. We know his chamber is iconic because they made it into a stage in Smash Bros. The very first turn of the fight, I get hit with Torment from his Klefki, which means I have to be careful throughout the fight. It stops us using the same move twice in a row. I figured this was coming and went for Power Up Punch the first turn. Second turn I use Rain Dance for the health recovery, and then I hit another Power Up Punch before finishing it with Earthquake. We get hit with a few attacks but nothing major. Probopass is next, and this one is a pain, as I hit it with Power Up Punch and Earthquake attacks as I try to whittle it down. It has Sturdy and he heals it twice, which is really aggravating. It hits us with a few Earth Power attacks, but we do survive them quite easily, so that's good anyway. Probopass is really not a special attacker. Eventually though, we do knock it down for the count. Scizor, we one hit with Earthquake, but that's going to be an issue going into his Aegislash because Earthquake is the only move we have that would hit it. I think he's going to go for King's Shield anyway, which he does, and I throw a Poison Jab at it to waste a turn before we wreck it with Earthquake. Just Diantha then. If you're keeping up with the Pokemon anime, she just got spanked by Leon a week or so back in the Masters 8 of the World Coronation series, but at least he was using fully evolved Pokemon. Spoiler alert, so there is that. Another great chamber design. Say what you like about X and Y, and people usually do, but the game looks fantastic in places, there's no denying that for me. Diantha begins with Hawlucha, and although it's resisted, we hit a power-up punch after getting tagged with a Flying Press. She goes to Swords Dance on the next turn and we throw the rain up to get some health back before she hits another Flying Press and we crash a Poison Jab into Hawlucha to end it. Next is Tyrantrum and we smash it with an Earthquake for a one-hit knockout. That could have been nasty. Aurorus is next and it's 4 times weak to fighting, and so we bang it with a power-up punch for a one-hit knockout. Half her team is down and we're on the crest of a wave. Her Gudra, out next, is a one-hit with Earthquake, and that's another big obstacle down. Gorgeist is next, and I didn't think that I had a great way of hurting it, so just went for a resisted Earthquake. It survived and used Trick or Treat, and I took it out with another Earthquake. I should have gone with Poison Jab. It would have been neutral and might have one-hit it. Gardevoir is last. She Mega Evolves it, and we just wreck it straight off the bat with Poison Jab for a one-hit knockout, meaning that we've beaten the champion and the game. That's the first time I've beaten Diantha without being level 100 and having to spam 6 double teams. Great job, Daft Gunk. We go enter the Hall of Fame then. After that, we do have a final fight of the run with AZ when he crashes the ceremony that they're holding in my honour. You know, for defending the region from Team Flare when nobody else did. Not the cops or the gym leaders or the Elite Four, none of them did a thing. Not like in Unova, when Team Plasma did similar stuff like this, the gym leaders all ganged up and kicked their asses. He begins with Torkoal and I rain dance to protect ourselves from the lava plume that comes our way. I hit a power-up punch and he counters with a body slam, but we don't get paralysed and I figure I should end it fast. And so, I call for an Earthquake to wreck it. Sigilif is next and we take it down with a Poison Jab for a fast victory, which is good because Sigilif is like something that's perfectly set up to counter us. Last is Golurk. I hit an Earthquake and it survives on red health, but thankfully he doesn't heal it, instead hitting us with Heavy Slam, but we take it out with another Earthquake for the win. Well, that was interesting. What was bad about this wasn't some of the major trainers, it was lots of the random trainers on the road who had Psychic types in their team. There's a few in Victory Road who had Medichams, Gallades and an Alakazam who turned out to be irritating, but hey, we got through it. This was harder than I thought it would be in places, but I'll say it again, we got through it. Diantha wasn't as bad as I figured she might be. Drasna was probably more worrying if I'm honest, but yeah, either way, I do hope that you enjoyed the show. Thanks so very much for watching. As always, if you have enjoyed, don't forget to like, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and drop a comment to help the algorithm. It's nice that I get to use one of my favourites. I used the Toxicroak on my first ever playthrough of Pokemon Diamond many years ago. If you have any ideas for future challenges, drop them in the comments section below, or hit the Twitter or the Discord links in the description of the video. Join me again, same time next week for another Pokemon challenge as we see if I can beat Pokemon Silver using just a single Yanma. That one is sure to be interesting. So, what's going on with me? The new dog has had an eye operation. She's walking around with the collar on her neck at the moment to stop her scratching it. So, every so often, we're hearing a clatter as she walks into something. It's quite endearing. I do get the impression, though, she can't wait for it to come off. As to me, there's a few developments afoot. Autumn is upon us and old things come to an end. I guess we will have to see what the future holds. Anyway, I think you've listened to me rabbit on long enough, so I'm going to call it a session here. As always, this has been Once a Future Gamer, and this has been Pokemon Y with a single Croagunk. Take care, folks. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye now. Au revoir. This was Kalos after all.